Hey everybody, I'm Gary Palmer Jr., you're you, and together we are Minting Coins, your trusted source for news, interviews, ICO reviews, and all things blockchain. If you're new to this channel, subscribe. I encourage you to hit that like button. It really helps encourage us, helps other people find this channel. And if you have any questions or comments, leave those in the chat box and to have your voice be heard so you can be a part of the conversation, add to the conversation, and also receive as much as you can so you can give back as much as you can. We are all early adopters at this point of the game, and this industry is going in one direction. It's going up, and we are very, very excited about that. Good to see everybody out there. I'm super excited. I'm super pumped. We have a lot coming up in the year 2018. There's a lot happening. There's a lot going on. We are so excited, and we really hope that you're excited too. You know, whether the market goes up or the market goes down, we're seeing the direction that this is going, and you know, with as much changing as it is, as rapidly as everything is changing, these are very, very exciting times. It can be really easy to get lost in the hype just because the rapid pace that things are happening across the board. You know, just keep in mind when domain names first came out and people were creating websites, every new website people knew about. And then at some point there were just millions of websites coming up, you know, first hundreds and thousands and then hundreds of thousands, and just so many websites and web pages that are popping up. That's what's happening with this brand new industry, of which we are not even at the early adopter phase yet. It's quite shocking. Why don't we take a look at the market, pop around the news, and then let's discuss. Starting over here at coinmarketcap.com, we are living in a world with the market cap is $0.6 trillion. 0.6 trillion. That's $613 billion is the total market capitalization, and our Bitcoin BTC dominance has actually decreased. We are now under the 50% mark. A lot of people freaking out in terms of watching the Bitcoin price go down, but at the same time, a lot of people doing the opposite of freaking out because they're watching the prices of all the alts go way, way up, and not just up in relative to the fiat dollars, but what we really care about, they're also going up relative to the Bitcoin BTC, which is reflected because the Bitcoin dominance is going down. You know, if we were to click on this and check out the Bitcoin dominance, it's something that waxes and wanes, it's something that increases and decreases, and this sort of breathing in the market is something that people are taking advantage of to essentially create more Bitcoin for themselves. Check this out. We have Cardano over here. It's now somehow the number 6 coin in the world, has increased substantially in terms of its total market capitalization. We were talking about Cardano when it came out, when it first came out, not too long ago, and it was about 2 cents a piece. And since then, it's already 10x'd and doubled. And so if you would have had, you know, even 0.1 Bitcoin in a Cardano, it would now be about 1.5 Bitcoins because a lot of this money that's been coming into the Bitcoin market over the past few months is now breathing into a lot of these other projects as people recognize the value in these other projects that they already know about, or as newcomers come into the market, and these newcomers are really excited about Bitcoin and Ethereum, but then they're wondering, where are the other opportunities? Where are the other projects? You know, they're interested in making gains, and so there's a huge amount of risk happening, and at the same time there's a huge amount of reward. Ultimately, Bitcoin is where it's at, and if you're not sure what to do, then Bitcoin and Ethereum are the number 1 and number 2 coins out there, and it's a pretty safe bet that those two are going to have substantial futures in the new industrial order that we're all, you know, waking up to. We're looking at these. We're looking at this in terms of dollars. This is USD coming on the line right here, and so we're down 4% in terms of USD. And so when we look at Bitcoin Gold, for example, Bitcoin Gold, it says it's up 3.46%, but the 3.46% up is less than the 4.18% down in Bitcoin, which means that Bitcoin Gold in this case right now is actually losing money in terms of the Bitcoin price. Regardless, you still want to see the gains in your altcoins increase more than the losses in the Bitcoin is the essential point that we're seeking to make in here. So looking at this waxing and waning, this is the total Bitcoin dominance percentage of market capitalization for Bitcoin. And we can see how this has been increasing and decreasing over the past couple of years, with this dramatic drop going into the summer of 2017, with this, resurgence in the Bitcoin dominance rather recently. And now we see it decreasing again. So just recognize that these are cycles in the market. These are going up, these are going down. So when you're sad that the portfolio is losing money, just recognize it's going to turn around and then the portfolio is going to be gaining money. It's, just like the stock market, it goes up, it goes down. It's just that the stock market is leveraged in fiat, and the ultimate value of the fiat is going to be losing value year after year because of the controlled rate of inflation from the central banks. The value of the Bitcoin BTC is going to be going up theoretically because the total number of Bitcoins are limited to less than 21 million that are ever going to be created. So if demand increases because central banks want Bitcoin, because businesses want Bitcoin, because governments want Bitcoin, because everyone in the world wants Bitcoin, but the total supply of Bitcoin stays the same or actually starts to decrease, then the value of the Bitcoin is going to go up more relative than the value of the fiat dollars, which are, you can print as many as you want. So as you've seen this one article from the Merkle, Bitcoin price drops by 3% and everyone panics for no reason. This is exactly what we're talking about. BTC price is up $10,000 in the past couple of weeks, up $10,000 from the month before. Everything's fine, everyone's happy, everyone's excited. Bitcoin goes down a couple $1,000s and everyone loses their freaking minds. This is natural in the market. This is natural in the cycle. This is important to recognize that this goes up, this goes down. This is one of those things that happen, just like it's highly likely that China is going to be banning Bitcoin again. Or maybe America will start taking its turn banning Bitcoin. And then it'll be really interesting to see the price of Bitcoin plummet and then to see immediate recoveries as, different people and organizations around the world take advantage of that fear, uncertainty, and doubt that people are being affected with, and then jump in to buy Bitcoin and buy these cryptocurrencies when these awesome dips happen. If people are ever talking about Bitcoin like this and they're saying the sky is falling, that's typically one of the best times to then go out and purchase Bitcoin, knowing that the price is likely going to recover. Now, none of this is financial advice, and you shouldn't be actually trading and trying to make money off of things that I'm saying, but these are just patterns that we've noticed in the past that have a high likelihood of continuing to happen into the future. So what's also interesting as we're talking about the market news, as we're seeing in this one article from ccn.com, it's speaking about the Ethereum price posting an all-time high nearing $900 as the Bitcoin dominance is slipping below 50%. And so we were talking about the Bitcoin dominance slipping below 50%, again at this point right here across this line. And we see how the Ethereum price in US dollars is nearing $900. It was actually probably touching that $900 not too long ago. We're down to $838. It's still a huge number for Ethereum. People are super excited because they're expecting Ethereum to not just hit $1,000, but to blow past that $1,000 mark. It's definitely at an all-time high when you compare these values in terms of the fiat dollars. But as people are talking about the all-time highs of Ethereum and people are getting really excited about the all-time highs of Ethereum, I think that the top can be much, much higher than where we are at for all of these coins because of the Bitcoin dominance. Because the Bitcoin dominance was so low before, it was under 40%. So, at least 39%. It might have been 38, 36, 37, 38%. Right now we're just under 50%. And as the Bitcoin dominance increases, that means that the total value of the total market cap is more in these other coins that aren't Bitcoin. More in these other coins as people are seeking diversification, more in these other coins as people are seeking, to support different projects out there. So when people are talking about this Ethereum at the all-time high, when we click into coinmarketcap.com and we click in to look at the charts specifically, we have all of these lines down here at the bottom of the page. So if we click on this, we can see the 24-hour trading volume that's been happening and how much trading is going in and out of the market with the buys and the sells. And then if we want to look at the total market cap coming into the space, we can see how this total market cap has been increasing and decreasing, cup and handling, and then spiking up. So we see it going way up in terms of the total market capitalization of Ethereum. And when we overlay the US dollars on top of that, we see how that's reflective in the US dollars and how we are absolutely at this all-time high for Ethereum. But now when we take the Bitcoin price and we overlay the Bitcoin price on top of the dollars, we can see that we are actually not at an all-time high for Bitcoin, that the all-time high for Bitcoin was the price of 0.14 Bitcoin. So 0.14 Bitcoin was the all-time high, and I can tell you that one of the reasons that Bitcoin probably hit, that Ethereum hit this all-time high relative to the Bitcoin price was because this was the time zone that people were purchasing extra amounts of Ethereum in order to purchase into the ENS system, the Ethereum name system, which is the .eth decentralized domain names that can be used and substitute for the long public Ethereum address. And so you can donate directly to Minting Coins through our long donation address for Ethereum or any of the ERC20 tokens. But at the same time, you can just donate directly to mintingcoins.eth. So we have mintingcoins.eth, and if you wanted to donate Ethereum or ERC20 token, you could do it directly to that. And that's what these ENS names are. And so there's a lot of purchasing of those at this point of time. Yeah, so if we were to take this current price of Bitcoin, which is currently 0.04, imagine 4xing this, and that would be the relative price to where the all-time high was Bitcoin. I don't know if it's reasonable for that to happen, but nevertheless, if you're buying and selling, if you're trading, if you're interested in accumulating more Bitcoin, then just recognize that there's huge differences when people are always gauging by the dollars. And at some point, there's going to be a shift where more people are actually gauging by Bitcoin instead of the dollars. And if you want to get ahead of that, if you want to get ahead of the world, if you want to get ahead of the market, then you'll make that shift yourself sooner than later. And it's not just Ethereum going up, it's also OmiseGO going up and OmiseGO. And OmiseGO is just really done with its downturn. It was really going down for a long time, for the past month or two, since its all-time high of reaching about $20 before. And while it's maybe at a new all-time high again, it's about less than half of its all-time high in terms of its Bitcoin price. And so OmiseGO has a long way to go in terms of meeting where it was in terms of its all-time high of Bitcoin, but nevertheless, Vitalik Buterin had tweeted out earlier this month that right now his favorite token model is the OMG style staking tokens. OMG style, which he is the advisor for, one of just 2 or 3 companies that Vitalik is an advisor for. And the reason he likes the OMG style staking tokens is because it's not a medium of exchange token. You're not using this to buy and sell things necessarily. It has a clear valuation model in terms of the expected discounted future transaction fees minus the cost to operate a node. And then it also requires running the node in order to get the returns. And so this isn't passive income that people are making just by simply holding, what would be defined as a security. They're actually taking this utility token of OMG, and then they're having to do something physically with their time and their energy and their mind, which is set up these nodes. And so it's more legally defensible, these OMG tokens, which I guess is the exact same model as the Zen Cash and the Zen Cash secure nodes that's happening in that world as well. So this has caused a lot of interest from the community to move toward OMG. OMG is something that I'm super interested in, and that a lot of people are interested in, because OMG is the tool that Ethereum is going to be leveraging, that Ethereum plus Plasma is going to be leveraging to create millions or at least tens of thousands of transactions to happen per second. So right now we know Ethereum is congested and this needs to get fixed, it needs to be resolved. But at the same time, I like to think back about the internet days. I like to think about, doing research projects on the early internet and using dial-up or early DSL connections perhaps. And it took a long time for images to load. It just line by line sometimes it was difficult. It was just the way the world worked with this new awesome thing called the internet. Just having it was worth the fact that it was so slow, but the speed quickly we realized was a huge issue. With that being said, there were probably people who thought the internet was never going to be used. No one's ever going to put their business on it or put their credit card in it or receive, shoes in the mail from purchasing something through a website. They probably never thought you're going to have live video streaming through the internet because it would never be possible to pass enough information through a phone line. It would never be possible to pass enough information through a DSL line. And at that point, it would never be possible to pass enough information through a cable line as well. But they laid down these fiber optics, they created new systems, they created additional protocols, and they made the system work to a point now where we have live streaming internet from any person across the world, and all you have to do is pay for the access to the connection to the internet itself. So the internet was able to achieve this level of scaling through different systems, through different mechanisms, and so I think it's reasonable to recognize that there's this huge possibility that very smart people are working on this problem, and that very smart people at some point will come up with a solution to this problem. Now, if EOS or Cardano or Neo or any of these other sort of systems which are very similar to Ethereum, if one of them are able to solve the problem quicker than Ethereum and before the delta of a shift of people using the new platform, then that would not be good for Ethereum. But Ethereum has a huge head start, and Ethereum also has a lot of benefits in terms of its decentralization and the path forward to maintain the decentralization of the Ethereum blockchain, as opposed to the way Neo or EOS might be going about it, which technically might be in some ways less decentralized than the goals of where Ethereum wants to get to.